Okay, we are going to start now, and we hope others would join. Okay, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this month's discussion. And for those that are new here, this monthly discussion is organized by Muslims in Research and Academics. It's a discussion platform where new researchers and new career academics come together to discuss various topics that are beneficial to us as academics and those that are interested in going into the academic career. So for today's topic, or for this month's topic, we have the privilege to invite Professor Abraham. And as you can see from the profile on the screen, he is a multidisciplinary international teacher, he's a journalist, he's a researcher, and entrepreneur. He holds many qualifications, including AMBA, MSc, coaching and development, and certificates in international humanitarian law from Oxford University. He also has a PhD in management and an European professional doctorate in international education management. Professor Abraham is a member of Board of Examiners for PhD students, thesis writing and defense of selected universities, including Bahratia University, Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science, and another university in India. He facilitates international public sector training and has trained many government staff, including Director Generals and staff of Bureau of Public Enterprise, senior management staffs of Nigerian Ports Authority, amongst others. He's also an associate prof, board advisor of six institutions, and author of several books, among his other research publications. He also speaks on business leadership in conferences across Europe, UAE, and Africa. Professor Abraham, we want to thank you for the privilege to listen to you, and we thank you for honoring our invitation today. Thank you. The floor is open for you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here today with this with the house, and we hope that we can learn something from each other. I strongly believe that life is a learning process. Can you hear my voice very well?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. I think if you check below the Zoom, you're going to see an icon that is actually tagged reactions. If you click on that tag titled reactions, you can see where to click on thumbs up, kind of reaction to show that you're actually following. So along the line, I think I would appreciate if it's possible for each of you or some of you to just give thumbs up so I can know that you're actually following. I would have preferred a situation where we can actually all be on video, so I can see the people I'm talking to, maybe get more. Thank you, Habibat, Nuru. It's going to get more interactive when we see eye to eye, but I don't know if your rule doesn't allow video, then we have to go on audio. However, thank you for inviting me for this meeting. It was quite a short notice, but I had to honor it because I believe that every opportunity I come across is to a platform to talk to kings and queens of today. I don't really believe that the youths of today will be leaders of tomorrow. The youths can actually start leading from now. And leadership is not about when you get to power. Leadership is not about when you become the vice chancellor of your university. Leadership is not about when you make the money you want to make and you become a multi-billionaire or you become a multi-billionaire. Leadership is not when you get married and then you have maybe you have 10 wives and you have if you have 10 wives and they have 10 kids ish. That will give you like, how many will be that? How many kids will be that? So that is not what makes you to become a leader. However, family is important. Becoming a chancellor of a university is important. Becoming a leader of a nation is important. Becoming a leader of a conglomerate like Dangote is also important. So leadership is about leading where you are. So I'm not going to say that today I'm talking to leaders of tomorrow. I want to say that I'm talking to leaders of today. And some of you can actually become leaders in academics and education. And some of you can become, leaders, in other industries. That is the essence of education. Okay. So thank you very much, organizer and your team. I appreciate what you're doing, and we hope that we learn something, no matter how small. To start with, I want to just ask one or two persons to tell, by way of interaction, to kickstart the webinar or the guest lecture, what's your field of study, or what are you studying currently, and what is your reason for studying that course. We are going to talk about combining graduate studies and extracurricular activities. And I'm going to share my PPTs very soon, to also we can see a few things which I've been able to scribble here. But before that, let us just interact a little bit. Can you introduce yourself and tell us what course you're studying, or what course you have studied, or what program do you intend to study, or what extracurricular activities are you engaged in? Because the essence of this meeting is to be able to help us learn a little bit more on how we can blend the extracurricular activities along with our studies or along with our researches. So the floor is open. Let me have a few persons just unmute and tell us what you're studying, and we move from there. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much, Professor Abraham. My name is Ahmed Olayiwaju. My name is Ahmed Olayiwaju.
Correct.
I studied computer science, BSc, MSc. I'm presently working on my PhD. Although I've not been too serious, in fact, because there are so many extracurricular activities that is just, getting one distracted. But presently, I am working on organizing an AI conference or workshop presently. Of course, I'm also a community person. I bring on board as many as possible young people into areas of data science and machine learning in the city of Ibadan. And I think we have been doing that for about 5 years now. So that's.
Okay.
Okay, let me just introduce myself also.
Yeah, sure.
My name is Zainab, and I'm a PhD student with a research area in waste to energy conversion. And basically that's it, really.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice.
So my name is Abiba, and I studied microbiology, BSc, MSc, and currently on my PhD in relating to antimicrobial resistance. And yeah, so I'm doing a bit of research along that line, bacteriology and things like that. So that's it, Winnie.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we have 2 or 3 more?
Okay. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is my name is Sharafaddin Adeniji.
Interesting.
I've PhD in physics. My area of interest is on clean and renewable energy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sir.
All right, all right. Yeah, can we have like 2 more? Can we have like 2 more persons?
Good day, Prof.
Can we have someone is bearing Ola Oni, right? Can you talk to us? And there's one Sharafaddin Adeniji. Can you also talk to us?
I just spoke. Sharafaddin just spoke.
Really?
I just spoke with you.
Okay, right, right. Okay, interesting. Okay.
I think Yusuf is about to speak now.
Okay.
Hello, good day, Prof.
Good evening, good day, good everything.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Yusuf Olamide Kewuyemi.
Right.
I'm currently in my first year of my doctoral program studying food technology.
Right.
So I'm passionate about using emerging food technology, like food processing technologies like 3D food printing, as well as omics principle like metabolomics and the likes to improve food value and as well also contribute to food security.
Okay.
And I'm currently doing my PhD at the University of Johannesburg here in South Africa.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, you're welcome. Okay, now can I have 2 of us, maybe I can hear from Nusirat and is it Karadi? What is your, and someone is being is it Aish? What is your, what was the thing that got you motivated when you heard about today's topic? Or can anyone just talk about that? Anyone talk about that? What's your motivation? What made you create this time to log in when you heard about the topic for today's session? Zainab.
Yes. So for me, when I heard about this topic, I felt like I think this is for me because usually I find it hard to, because of my work really, apart from my PhD, I also work as a teaching assistant in the university. And so because of that, it's been really hectic. And I try to actually say, oh, I don't really have time, even for my children. And it's so sad, like I can't even really take them out and say, let's have fun. I'm so focused with, and I don't even have time for my PhD as well. So no extracurricular time for me, activity for me.
Right.
So I was really interested.
Okay. So can we have one more person?
Thank God I have a partner.
Yeah, I almost said that. Okay. Yeah, can we have one more person talk about why today's topic is important for you?
Good evening. My name is Khoira, and I studied psychology, postgraduate degree in clinical psychology. So the motivation to join this webinar, I'm currently not enrolled in any program like PhD or anything right now, but I find it difficult to combine things together. Like I just like to focus on one thing at a time, even if it's just fun and like withdraw from my school activities or something, because sometimes I feel guilty for paying too much attention to school and not like being able to have fun. And then when I'm having fun, I'm thinking about like my schoolwork. So I did not find it easy to balance those things. So like joining this is just maybe for me to learn how to do that. So.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Let me share a bit of experience with us before I share the PPT. PPT is just for the fun of the lecture, but I'm going to share a few experiences with us because the essence of my being here is to share experiences with us, and not because it is a perfect experience. It's just because we need to keep learning from each other every day. I have doctorate students who are studying. Some of them are actually from Germany. I think there's one guy from Nigeria who is a very big boy, so to speak, the way it's said in Africa. He's a big boy in MasterCard. And I have other guys who are Indians and some from Lebanon and the rest of them. Now, I noticed that most of them have common problem. The problem is that they extracurricular, as the name sounds, those days in the high school or the secondary school, as some may call it, it's like whatever you do outside the classroom, like football, like badminton, like you're doing running, you're doing, you belong to one society or the other. But when you get to, particularly the postgrad level, it goes far above that. Whatever you do that is worth it, be it a business or whatever you do that is academic or non-academic, but it's not part of your core academic work, can be termed as or tagged as extracurricular. And most of them are involved in a lot of things because they work in very top places. And some of them are owners of businesses, and some of them just migrated from Europe to the UAE, some from the UAE to Canada, some from Africa to Bahrain, some from Bahrain to Kuwait, different people, different times. I also have one guy from Turkey who works with the Turkish army. And, most times it's always on training. So time became a common thing that most of them contend with. And so we're going to talk briefly also about the value of time. Time for Mr. Ahmed Olanrewaju is not same with what time is for Nusirat. And time for Ramat is not same with what time is for Bakari. And time for Yusuf is not the same value that it has for Miriam, because we all have different value that we attach to time based on our worth. And your worth is basically most valued either by anyone who seeks your services or anyone who may or may not seek your service but knows the value of time. You can also value yourself and tell yourself what you are worth. What Muritala Hamid is worth for 1 hour may not be same as what Yusuf or Mugaji Ido is worth for 1 hour. Why? Because their value is different. Why? Because the quantum of time they have spent on studies and the ability to manage extracurricular activities in their life, including the marriage, family life, kids, friends, relatives, and all those things that that take our time, are part of things that we put together to value what we have been able to use our time for. Sometimes what you're paid per time also tell you what your value of time is. So we're going to try our best to learn from each other, and we try to make it as interactive as possible. 2 things you must learn today is that whilst every one of you here are not studying the same program or studied the same program, all we have come to do is to see not what you're studying, not the area of your research, but basically that you are studying a program, or you did study the program, or you're trying to study a program, but you have some other side things which you're doing. Okay, so those side things which you're doing, how you can try to cope with managing those things along with your studies is what we're trying to look at. So one, you must see that you should see, not must, that everyone is a learner. For those of you who already got a doctorate, you may agree with me, you may also disagree with me, that from the very day you get your doctorate degree, you see yourself as someone who has just begun learning. Do I have a witness in the house? Because the more you learn,
right, Prof.
Right,
thanks,
sir.
thanks. Because the more you research, the more you learn, the more you realize what you never knew. And the more you learn, the more you also come to believe that no man born of a woman is a reservoir of knowledge. Everyone is learning every day. Sometimes you can actually make a name because you're able to propound a theory. And based on that theory, you have made a name. But whilst you are in Johannesburg, South Africa, somebody is in Japan, and somebody is in Brazil, and somebody is in America, and somebody is maybe is in Pakistan, and somebody is in Kenya, Nairobi, working on similar things, and may come up with an improved, idea, which might be better than what you're doing. Or whilst you're in Johannesburg or Cape Town, you're working on something which you never knew or may not know, that someone in Melbourne, Australia, has worked on similar thing and has come up with a theory that has already been accepted, maybe within Australia and the Oceania countries around Australia. And to him, he might feel, or to her, she might feel, well, I'm from Australia and I've got this research done, and I think is the best currently on earth, but not knowing that someone is doing a similar thing unknown to her in Johannesburg, South Africa. By the time you come up with yours and becomes accepted, what happens? The one that was done before either becomes stale or becomes archaic, or becomes, he or she has to start learning from you again to improve on what he or she has done. So life is a learning process. Now, what is research? Research means searching what has been searched before. It's one of the ways you can actually define research and look at research. Whereas it's not the only way to define research, but I'm trying to put it in the simplest way, because the work of any professor, for those of you who want to go into education, your work as a lecturer, your work as a professor is not to scare anybody off the class. Your work is to teach as simple as A, B, and C. That is the work of a professor. In countries where education is still very low and very backward, some people take pleasure in failing students. Some people take pleasure in becoming a mini god in their campuses. And because the government is battered with corruption, that happens in many countries across Africa and parts of Asia. The student does not have anything really to do. You just have to be at the mercy of the lecturer. Those things are past and those things are far back. The world has gone far ahead, okay? So everyone is learning and learning and learning. The faculty, in Europe, they call lecturers faculty. The faculties learn from the students also learn from faculty. So let's see what we can learn together. Thirdly, I want to let you know that this topic is a very wide one, and wide because we can actually form a group right now and publish 10 books from this topic alone. It's very wide. We cannot exhaust it at all. So we'll look at a part of it, and somehow, it may, in one way or the other, appeal to you or be able to help you learn something. Some of you also have come to this meeting, and what you've come to learn by default is combining studies with extracurricular activities. But you end up learning something different today based on what you'll be hearing from me along the line, which might be an example, or might just be maybe a line from one case study, or sharing a personal experience, or talking about somebody else who was able to achieve something. And that could be what might stand out for you today. So as postgraduate students, you are a postgrad not only to learn, but also to realize that on your way to getting your degree, you can learn something extra, which is not part of your curriculum. So because you are an advanced student, so take it that way, okay? All right, so can we proceed from here?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share a slide with us. Let's see. Okay, can we see the slide? Can we see the slide? Are we seeing the slide?
Yes,
Yes, I
yes,
can
Prof.
see
we
it
can
on my
see it.
hand.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, okay, nice, nice, interesting, interesting. Zainab, just for the information, I sent this flyer to some universities, and maybe do a very short notice, but maybe they might join. I don't know. So if you find anyone who's logging in, please kindly accept them to join. Okay. All right. And that is, yeah, that's that. Yeah. Okay. So let's just look at a few things very briefly. Why do people go to study? The different reasons why people go to study. Most lecturers believe that people go to study because some want to learn, some want to bear a title of a doctor. I actually have a student from India who tells me, Professor, I can't wait to get my doctorate done under his supervision. I just want to become a doctor. He doesn't intend to lecture, he wants to become a doctor. Okay, fine. But he finds it very, very challenging to combine his doctorate programs with, he's a very senior auditor in a very, an international auditing firm. And he's a very big auditor of about 20, 30 years experience. And it's a big challenge for him. But for him, how he's able to manage time is to prioritize and give more time to his works. When I say works, I mean his primary work, which is his work in the office, and then secondarily, his doctorate research. And he's doing a very good job, and he's done with the work already. I've gone through the work, the thesis is okay, and then I've already passed him to go ahead for the Viva. Viva is like defense, and very soon he's going to get a call from the panel to do his defense. But how did this guy become the first guy among his set of students to be able to cope with his studies and his official work in the office and his family and all of that? What he did was to tell himself that everyone that is born of a woman have equal access to 24 hours. That's what I taught them when we were studying their dissertation. Everyone born of a woman have access to 24 hours. But we don't all have same value for the 24 hours. Neither do we go about using the 24 hours the same way. Some people waste time. Some people spend time. Some people invest time. If I ask you right now that what is time, most of you might say time is money. True or false? Now, same way, some people waste money, some people spend money, and some people do what? Invest money. Okay, so it's not the same thing. So how he went about his time was what made him. I'm not in his house to know how he goes about his time, but he decided that challenges will always be there. His MD will always be on his neck for some auditing reports or whatever. That will always be there. The supervisor, being Professor Abraham, will always want to push him to work very hard and get his work done at the right time. That will always be there. The panel of the university will always say, hey, are you done with your work? Can we invite you for the defense? That will always be there. So he divided his time and gave priority, maybe some 40% to his official work in the office, some 40% to his thesis, dissertation work, and some 20% for the family, because they understand with him that he's doing his doctorate right now, and he will soon be through in the next 1 year from now. So a lot has to do not just with you who is deciding what time to apportion, but a lot has to do with you being able to communicate with the factors around you that can either assist you or pull you down from achieving your aims. Those factors are in the order of priority: your family, your wife, your husband, your kids, your nanny or house girl, house boy, and those who are right around you have a long way to go, or have, you know, they have a role to play in being able to help you, even if they're not working in your office or doing the thesis with you or whatever, or studying the classes with you, because you live with them, they have a long way to go. And so you cannot totally separate family. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, please, I can hear you. Don't mind, but I'm still in the meeting in the office. My head's a wrong.
Okay. Okay, right. So that's the way it is. So we cannot totally outrule the role of our families or the factors that play in all succeeding in being able to come out as the best postgrad student or researcher. At the same time, our attempt to try the best we can to manage the time between our studies, our researches, and our extracurricular activities. We cannot outrule that. Now, apart from family, other things come to play. We don't have total control over time. And when I heard about this topic, combining graduate studies and extracurricular activities, the other work or the other thing I can use instead of combining would be time management in graduate studies and extracurricular activities, or how do we manage our time? Because this really boils down to time. Okay, so back to what I was saying, different reasons. Some go to study to learn, some go to study to unlearn. I know it very well. I'm just going to school because I want to learn something. You go to school and realize that what you knew before and what you thought you knew before is no more applicable. So you go to school to learn, you go to school to unlearn, you also go to school to relearn. Some also go to school for different intentions. Intention means what you may not really say out in this context. You know, you go to school because you want to feel like a graduate, because your friends are all graduates, and so you want to be a graduate. Now, that's it. I had a tutor who taught me agricultural science in high school those days when I was in a high school. And he said he went to university not because he wants a job. He went because he's where he came from in Western Nigeria. I think he came from either the Ondo state or the Oyo states. I can't remember, it's a very long time. That everyone, you know, around his friends are all graduates. And so in their community, they don't know you by how much money you have in your account. No, they know you by how many graduates you have produced in your family. And so he doesn't want to be left out. He has a large farm and is doing very well. He has a lot of money, but he needs to go to school to be able to study and be able to say that today I am a graduate. Now, how was he able to manage his studies in the university for 4 years, along with his extracurricular activities in business? He was a farmer, cocoa farm and the rest of them. He had to sit down and make a plan and to delegate people to handle the farm business for him, and then created a team of all his workers, made one of them a team leader, and then pay him a little higher and put him in charge of the other workers who were there. And at intervals, he finds his way back to his state to go and check his farm and supervise them. And amongst those who are in the team working with him, not necessarily the leader, he made one of them to be an eye to watch over things for him. Because sometimes people don't make you a leader because you are most trusted. They make you a leader because you have the ability to manage the team. But sometimes, if you agree with me, even in the federal government offices, in the state offices, in the businesses, in companies, even in banks, sometimes the owners of the businesses or the government or director, whoever, can actually ask even a cleaner to be his eye in that very parastatal. And it happens because of the level of trust he has in the cleaner or the driver. That is the way it is. That's what he is. So what is your intention? What is your reason for going to study a postgraduate? What is your reason? And what is your intention? This has a long way also to go with combining your extracurricular things with your studies. Next is why the need for extracurricular activities. Number one, we can't learn everything in the university. We can't learn everything in the classroom. And so we have to go into extracurricular, like doing a business or doing a volunteer service or going into sports management or sports whatever, or some kind of soft skills training to be able to garner more information and get more practical knowledge. What universities give to people today is not really enough to make them meet the demand of today's market. You may agree with me, you may also disagree that even some of you who are graduates, what you use today in your business today was not totally what you learned from the university. There are more of things that you have been able to learn from either from other people's businesses you've assisted, or from family businesses you've assisted, or what you've seen other people do, or what you have learned from mistakes you've made in the past, or what you're learning today. So no university on earth, not even the best of universities in the world, maybe in the UK or in America, will give you everything you need. So we need to get involved in extracurricular activities to learn also what we can learn from the four walls of any university. Even if you learn from the university, you can't remember all. It is impossible for you to remember all. It is not possible to remember all. So why kill yourself with learning, trying to learn and focus only on what you learn from the university? Do something extra, learn from something extra. Education is not designed to make you a retentive tank. What is a tank? A tank is anything that is made or fabricated to contain water or liquid or whatever, or air. Could be a tank. So you're not meant to be a retentive tank to study throughout up to doctorate level or postdoctorate level and then have everything you learn to remain in your brain. That is not the essence. No, that's not the essence. The essence of education is to get you refined. The second essence of education is to give you a reorientation. However, or even though you have learned as much as possible, no one is going to force you to work in the area of what you studied. There are guys who studied accountancy and they are musicians. There are people who studied home economics and they work in a bank. There are people who studied Christian religious studies, some studied Islamic religious studies, and they are working as managers in the bank. True or false?
Yeah, true, Prof.
That's the way it is. So you need to get, for any of you who is not involved in anything extracurricular, I challenge you to take up something, do something, because it will surprise you how much of things you learn, even from the trial and error. You're going to learn a lot of things. Extracurricular activities helps you to balance up. It really, really helps you to balance up with a lot of things. Okay, the need for extracurricular activities, part 2. Universities don't have what it takes to give you a total blend of what you should get. The world values you by what you can do, not only what you know. So let's assume that you study sociology, or study psychology, or study education, for example, since we are within the four walls of education. For example, you have a B.Ed, or you have an M.Ed or PhD in any of the biomedical sciences, or paramedical, or any engineering, accountancy, or any field at all. What the market of today needs is not the degrees you have gotten. It is what you can do. You can learn the theory of what you can do in the university, but you do not have the platform to learn the practical of what you are learning in same university. Most of the universities today, even for those who are learning engineering courses and programs, have dilapidated equipment. They don't have new ones at all. Even if they have new ones, they know how to operate them, might not be there. The system is highly affected negatively, I'm sorry to say. So you have a lot you can learn from your extracurricular activities. Number 3, it helps you to value your time ahead. It helps you to value your time ahead. If you get involved in extracurricular right now, depending on your own definition of extracurricular, we don't really have the time to look into those areas and see what is Jamila's areas of extracurricular, okay, let us begin to expand and look at Ahmed's areas of extracurricular, or let's look at Nana, who is joining right now, Nana's area of extracurricular. We don't have the time, but whatever you call extracurricular, be it business, be it family, be it whatever it is, it will help you to value time from now ahead of time. And it will help you to know what your worth of time is from now ahead of time. I might tell you why later. It gives you practical experience most times. Now, what does it require? What does it require to combine graduate studies and extracurricular? Number one, a clarity of your vision, your mission, and purposes. What is vision? And what is mission? Vision is where you're going in life, or where you're going with your organization, where you're going to be, the future of your business. Vision is the future of your hotel, the vision of your local government, the vision of your council, the vision of your state government if you're a governor. The vision is what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So I can say that vision is where you're going to, mission is how to get there. And that makes you to birth the purpose. And so you know the purpose, which can also be called objectives, or some may say goals, to achieve on your road. The road is the mission to your destination. Destination is your mission. So combining these requires you to have a clarity of your vision. If you don't have a clarity of your vision, you just end up using the time you should use for studies for extracurricular and vice versa. And at the end, you end up nowhere. So there's need for a clarity of vision. Now, why is there need for a clarity of mission? You must know how you want to do it. If you don't know how you want to do it, ask somebody. No one knows it all. Ask somebody, can you tell me, please, can you share with me how I can get this done? How I can get this done. I'm trying to establish a business, and this is what I have a dream. This is the dream, but I don't know how to get it done. Can you help me? Someone might help you. Otherwise, you have to pay some money to get a training and learn something about how to get it done. So your mission is very important, and your purpose should be very, very clear, because sometimes even in your extracurricular stuffs, you don't work alone. Sometimes some people do things with their families. Sometimes you have a colleague in the office, do some stuff together. Sometimes you open a business, or you're working on the projects. Like our brother who is doing something right now in Ibadan. I can't remember what it says, working on in Ibadan. You might have a team working with you. There's need for clarity or purpose, so they can be able to go with you properly and arrive there. Knowing the value of time and managing the time well. So it's one thing to know the value of time and how to manage the time well. Nobody can manage your time for you. Jamila cannot manage the time for Olanrewaju, and Sharafaddin, right? Sharafaddin cannot manage time for Zainab. Neither can Zainab manage time for Ramat. It's impossible. So you must first of all know the value of your time, and then you must know how to manage your time well. Balancing your priorities to give more time to which is most important is key. You must learn how to balance your time to give more priorities to what's the most important, and don't get tempted to get more too academic, than extracurricular, and don't get too extracurricular conscious, and then you lose your studies because you are still studying. Now that brings me to those of you who are of three categories. There's some of you who are very hardworking and can work very tediously and can manage your time very well, can work rigorously and manage your studies very well, your doctorate very well, as well as your other businesses. There are those of you also who have problems with procrastination or laziness. I will do it later. I will do it later. I will go to Abuja later. I will go to Ilorin later. I will go to, I will fly later to Abidjan later. No, laziness and procrastination are almost the same. They're almost the same. So you need to fight that if you have problems with laziness. And then some people have problem with indecision. That problem, I had it before, and it took me time to work on it. My wife had to help me to work because she knew that, well, my husband has problem with indecision. So even down to, the things I buy when I go to do shopping for my clothes, I want to travel, or I want to book an airline, a flight, or I want to book into a hotel. I want to do some things, I take more time to take a decision, and sometimes it doesn't go well with me because my time is almost gone. I had problem with indecision, taking decisions, immediately. I had to leverage on my wife's assistance to be able to take quick decision. And even if the decision may not pay very well, let it be that at least I took a decision. So whatever you want to do in your studies, vis-a-vis your extracurricular, you have to learn to take a decision quickly, but take the decision smartly. Hello.
Hi, Prof. We're with you.
What was the last thing I said?
Impossible.
A decision promptly.
Okay. Someone said take a decision promptly. Someone said Prof, we're with you. And the last person who almost got
Take a decision quickly.
Take a decision smartly.
Okay. All right. So the person who said we're with you, Prof. I'll give 6 over 10. The person who said take a decision quickly, I'll give you 7 over 10. The person who says take a decision smartly, I'll give you 8 over 10. Yes.
Yeah.
And the question I asked you was, what was the last thing I said? And the person who would have gotten 10 over 10 did not has not spoken or did not give me a perfect answer. The question I asked you was what? What was the last thing I said? And so
That's the answer.
that's the answer. That's the answer. Yes, that's the answer. Okay. Yes. Yes. So what did I say last? Yes. So take a smart decision, because we've realized that even in working these days, those who work hard don't really make money as much as those who work smartly. So working hard is important, but working smartly is most important. Next is examples of extracurricular volunteer services. I don't have business, I don't have job, I don't know what to do, I have nobody to help me. I have an idea, but somehow my idea is not good enough. I think I want to close the idea. But the fact is that every idea is an idea. Why are people selling businesses today when COVID-19 came? Because they believe that people will always buy the business. Why did you sell your car? For any of you who ever sold your car before? Because somebody will buy the car. And so the gap between the person who sold his business and the person who is buying that business that someone is running from is information. Is what? Information. So sometimes you get more information even from volunteer services. You can learn to volunteer for free. You can learn to assist others with running their businesses. You can also run your own businesses. You can learn hard skill like auto technician, electrical, fashion design. You can also learn soft skills like public speaking, corporate communications, writing, editing, social media management, etc., etc. You can also start and run your own NGO, non-governmental organization. Just some examples of of what you can do as per extracurricular. And if I ask you right now to contribute your idea to this, a lot of you have different examples of extracurricular activities which you are involved with. From my experience so far, as a professor who is privileged to teach European students over the years, I always tell, can you see these photographs? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, right. Now, I teach my students most times, because some of them are they're studying hospitality, but they do fashion design for the hobbies. Some of them are studying business administration up to postgrad level, but they do wrestling as a job, full-time job, wrestling. Wrestling, you know. Some of them actually doing e-commerce. They're studying economics, and they have a website where they sell clothes, they sell shoes, they sell phones, and sell things. And it's a professor. Can you unmute, please? Okay, yeah. So that is the way it is, and they want to learn. They want to learn how to manage their time to be able to cope with their studies along with their extracurricular activities. Some of them are into catering, but they are not studying hospitality. They are studying IT, but per passion they like catering. So I teach them how to manage their time effectively. And some of them also do not really know what they want. They don't know exactly what they want in life. What I do as a professor is when I spot such a student, I feel that the student will be wasting his fees if he or she does not know exactly why he or she is in the university. I'll give you an example. Hello. I had a student who was in my class, and the student was studying IT, and I was teaching them IT law. And the students, I was asking them, why are you studying IT? And the student confessed to me that she's studying IT because she found herself studying IT. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she said she's confused. That this is the 13th course she is studying. And I said, wow, 13th course you're studying? Why? Because from one to the other, she gets confused. Father says, study this course. Her friends say this course is good. And then the mother said, no, study this course. And then someone said, if you study this course, you're going to get a good job and all that. And she kept moving from one to the other and the other and the other. And I had to pause my class to address her situation right there and then. And then she fell in love finally with the IT, which was studying. And that was how she got fully involved in that class. However, she was still one of the best in the class though. So there are people who are actually the best in their studies up to PhD level, but they end up discovering that that is not what they are called to do in destiny. So extracurricular activities helps you sometimes to discover who you are. It helps you to know who you are. It helps you to know when you can make a U-turn either to the right or to the left, or keep going, or make a U-turn and go back. It doesn't matter how far you have gone. Ultimate aims of extracurricular is two things. One, extracurricular may help you in your researches and publications, because some people actually relate, make their extracurricular activities into a case study, and they do their write-up based on that, and it becomes easy for them. So if it relates to what you're studying, yes, you can leverage on what you're doing right now to be able to do your thesis. Even if you don't have anything to do, and all you have to do is your family, and they are around you and very, very busy with them, family is a big job. The ladies who are here right now would agree with me that there is nothing like full housewife. Housewife is a work. It is a big work to do. It is not easy at all. Okay, it is not easy at all, right? So that is that. Whatever you're doing, if it has a link with your studies, you can use that. If you feel like making a case study out of it, you can also do. Now, Extracurricular will also help you to meet the need of the market, particularly overseas, for some of you who want to move and work abroad. They wouldn't ask you what is studied most times. They will ask you what you can afford to do. Even as we conclude, I want to open the floor right now for questions and answers or discussions and interactions because it is really not possible to exhaust. In fact, we have not even gone up to a quarter of what it takes to deal with this topic. The topic is very, very wide. We just use this time to just interact and just instigate room for discussion, to rub minds together and see what we can learn. We cannot exhaust it in one day. I hope that we may have learned just one or two things from what I've said so far. Now, let us give 10 minutes or less to questions and answers or ideas, and let us discuss briefly. Yes, please. Zainab, can you coordinate this session, and so we can manage the time well? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Abraham. It was really inspiring, and you really explained to us how time management is the key to doing other activities apart from our academic activities. So please, is there anyone that has question or suggestion, or maybe you want to share your experience on how you are able to navigate your life, combining your academic work and other activities? Please, you can share with us now. Anyone?
Any questions in the house? Any is there any question you want to ask? Any question or any contribution, or is there anything you want us to learn from you, from your experience?
It seems a lot of people are trying to digest the discussion you had with us.
Okay. Hello, Zainab.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Sharafuddin.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Abraham, for the wonderful talk. I really enjoyed the presentation, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, before now, when I hear about the word extracurricular activity, the old impression or the definition, like going to football or any other sporting events, which I don't have time for. So I see myself as not having any extracurricular activities. But with what you have listed today, I know that definitely I'm into some other extracurricular activity, which I was not paying attention to. I didn't see them as extracurricular activity. Can you hear me, Prof?
Yeah, sure, very well.
Okay. Yeah, I also appreciate it. But you said with extracurricular activity, one can actually discover himself, like what you are really made for. But Prof, at what point do you discover, like you are in academic, for instance, and you also have passion for business? However, for the fear of the unknown, maybe in the future, at what point do you decide which one do you really now pay attention to? Is it the academic, for instance, which you are in, or the business which you are passionate for and you have started, in a smaller way, trying to grow it? So sometimes there is conflict. So you're talking about time management, but I'm talking about confidence now into how do you really discover which one to pay more attention to? I don't know if I have presented the question very well, in the way that you did it.
Yes. Okay, this is very, very important. I never knew I had what it takes to become a professor until my mates in the secondary school forced me to go into a debating society because they felt I had what it takes to communicate. And I was a little bit shy because I felt my family was poor. And I also felt my father wasn't educated. And so who am I to go into extracurricular in terms of whatever? But the whole class said, you must. And so I had to join. And I got involved in that. And little did I know that while I was doing that, I also found myself trying to imitate teachers after they've come to teach and left the class. And so I never knew that in me, two things were there. One, I could become a teacher. Number two, I could become a journalist. And over time, those things helped me. But I never for one day decided to leave my studies because of extracurricular, even if it's business. What I advise you to do is to try, even if you have discovered that, oh yes, this auto business, this hospital clinic I'm opening, or this pharmacy I'm opening right now is what I really want to do. Yeah, I got it. Yes. Now I can make it in life. I'm a blessed in life. Don't still leave your studies. The worst you can do is to convert your studies from a full-time into part-time, or in these days of internet, turn it into an online studies. Most of the Europeans who are here, most of the Africans who are abroad right now, they are studying online to enable them give a full-time attention to that extracurricular, because they learn more from those practical things than the theory they get in the classroom. However, if you jump and cut off from your studies because of business or whatever, you might end up realizing that you regret it later. But it's something you always learn in education. Don't be half-baked. Continue the studies, but look for a way to make it blended. What is blended? Blended means that you're working, you're doing business, you're also studying. Unfortunately, the environment where most of us come from in Africa and Asia, universities don't support that. But if it's a private university, yes, it's possible. But even during my own time, I had police officers, I had people who were businessmen who would tell me, please, I'm in this college with you, college means university with you. Please, I'm very busy, I'm a police officer, I cannot be here right now, but please help me copy my notes, help me take money, buy my handouts for me and keep for me, whatever they teach in the class, let me know. Why? Because he knows that this guy called Abraham has what it takes to double listen and learn for himself and learn for others. That's it. And even if we do exam, we'll still pass with different marks, because what they teach me and I'm there is different from what I will teach you, but we're both teachers. So don't leave your studies because of extracurricular activities. Somehow, when you sit down to think, if you have money, take out time, go to a hotel, lodge for 3 days, 2 days, and just do a quiet thinking by yourself. You just naturally receive a flow in you that, yes, this is what you need to do. Continue with this, or pause this for now, and do that for now. But don't stop your studies.
Thank you very much, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. There's a question here, right? From Fajimi. Fajimi, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Okay, Fajimi said, I share same view with Sharabin. Do you think it's professional to inform our postgrad advisor about such activities, such as the case of Toby Amuson, the athlete, Anthony Joshua, the boxer, Michael Obi, the footballer? Thanks. To simplify my question, some of us have passion for other stuffs aside academics. If it's time demanding, should we notify supervisors so he or she take it easy with us? Yes, of course. Yes, because I experienced the same thing. I have students who are working and they are big boys and big girls. They tell me, Professor, please, I'm sorry, I have this project in my office to cover. I work with Siemens. Oh, please, I'm sorry, I work with the top Turkish army. I'm in the army. I have a training going on. Please take it easy with me. I want to stand with them because I know that they will even learn more from those things than the theory of the thesis which they're working on. Yes, that is it. So let them know. Let them know. Okay, let them know. But communicate to them the way they will understand it, so they don't get you wrong. And because if you have someone who is tough and if you
I'm so sorry.
Prof. Abraham, you have to unmute yourself. I mistakenly muted you. Okay.
Sorry, sorry about that. Okay, so Fajimi, is that clear to you?
Yes, Prof. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, right.
Thank you, Prof. Is there any, okay, there's one other person that wants to ask a question.
That's
Okay, thank
Jamila.
you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prof.
Thank you,
I want
Jamila.
to ask, I want to ask a question. In our own system in Nigeria, as a supervisor, the system wants you to produce your students within certain period of time, and the students the supervisor. How does the supervisor communicate this with the institution so that they'll be able to give time or allow the students, because the student is not ready to formally defer the studies. He wants to combine it or probably make it a part-time, but the university is mounting pressure on the supervisor that, why don't you produce this person within certain time? How does the supervisor manage such a relationship?
Okay, there are also cases that I heard about where a student, for example, who is supposed to do a doctorate for 3 years, end up doing it for 10 years because the supervisor said, that's how fast I can help you. As against the university saying he or she has to do a 10 years PhD. And the student becomes at the mercy of that supervisor. So I think it still largely depends on the supervisor, your understanding with him. He or she should know what to do. I'm telling you, he or she should know what to do if he or she really wants to do it. Apart from strike actions in Nigeria, some lecturers and professors frustrate students to graduate 1 year extra instead of their original years, and the person doesn't do anything about it. Even if you tell the Senate, question is, who do you know? So I think the best thing to do is, if you defer, in a way, it might unnecessarily extend your study period. He should know what to do. It depends on supervisor. If it's abroad, it's very easy. It's very, very easy. It's not a big thing. It's not a big whatever. No, but in the Nigerian system, you can be very dedicated, and then if he likes you, work as fast for you. But if he doesn't like your face, then it's going to make you stay for another extra 2 or 3 years and everything about it. So the same way, he can also choose to help you if you think you're a bit busy, and then later on you can come back and work within that same time frame and get it done and finish it up. It's very possible. So it depends on supervisor. Talk with him with understanding. It is not really for you and I to decide what he might think or what he might do until you give it a try. So give it a try.
Thank you, Prof.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Abraham. Is there any other question before we call it a day? Any question? Okay, I think we don't have any other question. And with that, I would like to once again thank Prof. Abraham for, even with the short notice, he was able to honor our invitation, and today's discussion is so interesting. And I myself have been able to gain 1 or 2 things. We really appreciate this. And I also want to thank everyone for joining today's discussion. And I believe we've also been able to pick 1 or 2 things from this discussion. Thank you, Prof, once again. And with that, we would come to the end of today's discussion. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
My
Prof.
pleasure.
It was
Thank you
really
very much.
Chiketi, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.